Hi lovelies and welcome to the Witch's Cookery. My name is Bex and I've been a practicing cottage and kitchen witch for almost 18 years now. And today we are going to talk about how to be a witch in secret, or hacks for when you are stuck in a proverbial broom closet. In this video we will be answering frequently asked questions like what you can do instead of burning sage, what to do if you can't have any witchcraft books at home, or how to conceal your witch equipment from the eyes or snoopy noses of others. Now, there are multiple reasons for being a witch in secret, ranging from an unaccepting environment to just plain it's nobody's business. But regardless your reasoning, today I will give you tips and tricks on how to practice witchcraft in secret, very subtle and hidden from the sight of others if you wish to do so. Now, while I was thinking about a couple of points for this video, coincidentally, it also came out to be a little bit as a video about witchcraft on a budget. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money or you can't afford to spend a lot of money on starting your practice or practicing, then this video might be very helpful to you too, because there are a couple of lovely hacks in here on how you can save coins and practice with natural found ingredients from outside or in your house. But let's start right into the topic. So we're going to start with a couple of witchcraft practices that are very subtle and very not out there at all anyway. So they're great if you're looking for ways to incorporate magic into your life, but don't want to have it so obvious. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you know that I will always bring up the subject of kitchen witchery. It's just something so wonderful and easy to do. And if you don't know what kitchen witchery is, I'll link you a video up top that explains all the different workings that you can do in the kitchen. And in itself, it's just a very, very subtle form of magic, of witchcraft, because we all need to eat, we all need to prepare food, and no one really can tell if you are putting intention into your food, if you're using certain herbs in order to practice your craft, or if it's just because you want to add some flavor, or both. So if you're a cook anyway, that's a great way to do. And if you're not a cook, but you would be interested in doing some witching in the kitchen, you could always take up cooking as a hobby. I mean, it's a very, very normal hobby to have, I'd say, and a very good one too that your friends and family will probably appreciate. Another very cool way to work magic, very subtle, is cottage witchcraft, and that can also be connected to green witchcraft. And that just means that you're working household chores with magic intent. For example, you can do a house cleansing by sweeping with a besom. It doesn't have to be a besom, it can be a regular plastic broom. But the intention is what counts. What you are visualizing while you're doing so. You can sweep out negative energy while you clean your house. You can do DIY herb-infused homemade cleansers just to basically clean your kitchen or your bathroom. And for that you can use magical ingredients that are also just like a low waste or zero waste cleaning option. So if anyone wonders why you're suddenly also green and also environmentally friendly, then you just tell them that the planet is dying and you're saving it. That you're a great Greta Thunberg fan. Another cool way to work witchcraft, if you're a little bit crafty or arty, is art witchcraft, because you can craft protection charms. You can make pictures or little decorative objects that you have in your house that don't necessarily look witchy, but that do serve a purpose, like protection or bringing harmony or love into your home or repelling negativity. All of these things can be easily and subtly worked into some craft work. Some other practices that are great is color magic, just the color you pick for your outfit. I mean, everyone wears, most of the people wear clothes. And you can match what you're wearing to the intention for the day or to a specific magical purpose or goal. It's all super subtle and no one will suspect a thing. I personally also love to work with sigil magic, explanation up above. And here you can just doodle and create your own little things. And if someone sees it and asks you what that symbol means, you can just be like, oh, I just draw it while I was, listening to music or whatever. Or you don't even have to draw them with a pen. You can just like draw them in the air with your finger. You can draw them in dirt, you know, very easy and unsuspicious. And to be honest, a lot of witchy activities can be explained with a simple interest in nature or other type of hobby, like cooking or crafting
or rock collecting, gardening, astronomy, astrology, meditation or mindfulness.
In witchcraft, you do a lot of practices like visualization and meditation and stuff like that. And that's not necessarily a witchy thing to do. That's just part of a connected lifestyle that is caring for your mental health and for your physical health. So it would always be very, very easy explained. Of course, now we get more into the practices that might not necessarily be done outside of witchcraft. And here I want to answer a couple of frequently asked questions from people that wonder how to be a witch in secret. Now, a very common way of cleansing energy is still to burn sage. And that obviously is a bit suspicious and it might smell and it might bother people in your household that are not into these things. But there are so many other ways to cleanse energy out there. You can use sound, you can use clapping. You can also just use a visualization technique where you visualize a bright white light radiating from you that clears out the space that you want to work in or that you want to do your craft in, or just in general your house. Before I also mentioned the besom, and it doesn't have to be a witch's broom, it can just be any kind of sweeping device. It can also be a little handheld something, a brush or whatever. It all works as long as you put the magical intention in there. The tool is not the thing that does the magic, you are the thing that does the magic. Sorry for calling you a thing. You're a fine thing though. And of course you can also use things like salt, lemon juice, vinegar, anything that actually cleanses, also dirt, cottage witch here, also cleanses energy. Another question is, what do I do if I can't light a candle? Because maybe I'm still a minor and I can't really buy candles without my parents asking questions, or I live in a dorm where it's not allowed to light open fires and stuff like that, or people would get suspicious if I set up my spell here. I do know that a lot of spells that you can find online or in books do require a candle. But it's really not necessary. There are so many more options out there than just candle magic or sealing spell jars or spell jars in general. Especially if you look into folk witchcraft, because if you look a little bit back, candles were actually a really expensive thing, you know, and they were not just used freely. And especially not for witchy purposes or for spiritual purposes in that matter. Everything you find there, if you do your research, is like natural rituals, anything from nature. There are so cool things out there that I will get into a little bit later on in this video. So don't sweat it if you don't have a candle. I would recommend, if you really don't know how to adjust or adapt the spell, to look more into how you can actually write your own spells that you can then perform with the ingredients that you have available and with the options you have available. And here's a how to write magic spells. Now, a lot of witches are also into divination or tarot or runes. And obviously, if you live with someone that is not welcoming of that, or if you just don't feel comfortable having it at your own place, then that might be a problem if you want to get into it. However, there are many options out there. So if you can't have a physical deck of tarot cards, for example, there are apps there. I linked you some down below. And if you worry that might be on your phone, there's always the option on your phone to create a secret folder where you can put all your witchy apps in, all your research, all your marked websites, whatever you have can go in that little folder and no one can access it but you. If you don't like the tech aspect of it, of course there are also other options out there. And this is a witchcraft on a budget tip. For example, if you want to get into runes, you can just go outside and collect a couple of flat rocks, and then you can inscribe them with magic ink. You might probably know the invisible ink pens that you had as a child. By now they're actually quite good. Like, you can really like inscribe something and you can't see anything on those rocks unless you shine like a ultraviolet, like a blue light on it. and then runes will appear. Personally, I don't think it's very suspicious if you would have like a bowl sitting in your room that just holds a couple of nice little pebbles or something like that. Maybe put a candle in it, or you know, whatever, to make it look like decoration, and no one will suspect that they're actually divination tools. If you rather work with cards, I mean, you can also just make your own cards. They don't have to have the picture. You can just write the name of the card on an index card with a magic ink, and it just looks like a new pack of index cards. Now, when you're doing your research, chances are that you would like to have some books at home, but obviously for the same reasons than before, that's in some cases just not possible. So my tip here would be to do a lot of online research, and as I said, on a computer or on a phone, you can just do the secret folders and put everything in there. You can make little documents that you put in there. You can even have your book of shadows online. No one says that it has to be written on a ancient book, leather bound with crystals adorned and bit of it. So feel free to just have a lot of things online, and there are really good resources out there if you dig really into it for multiple topics that relate to witchcraft. Another way obviously would be to go to the library and just read at the library, do your research there. And that immediately leads me to the next point of having a book of shadows. A lot of witches like to keep like a grimoire or a book of shadows where they write down their experience, their spells, their knowledge, and so on. If the people you live with are respectful enough to not open a personal diary, for example, you can just buy one of those stationary diaries and write in there. And if you're afraid that they might actually go through your stuff or look for things, naughty them, you could also just have your little notebook and then put another cover around it, like preferably a very boring one that no one ever reads, and put it with all your books. Or again, you just get out this magic marker, magic ink again. A lot of the knowledge can actually also be found online in apps, like you have moon calendars that are very advanced to tell you very many different things of what a sign it is, what it means, what the moon phase mean, what it does, what kind of magic you can work. If you're into green witchcraft, there are tons of plant apps out there. I'll try and do a little collection of things that might be useful for you down in the description box. And speaking of moon calendars, a lot of times you can also find these farmers' almanacs, these like rural calendars that basically have the same information as most of the witch calendars out there. Like they have the moon phases, the blending phases, they have the different saint days. If you're into folk witchcraft, for example, they usually have like little tidbits and oracles about weather and stuff like that. And it's not witchy, it's just, you know, tradition. Or is tradition witchy? Now, a lot of witches like to have a little altar space where they can practice their craft and do their spells. And if you look online, you see a lot of beautiful displays that look very, very, very Sabrina. Obviously, if you're being a witch in secret and try to keep it undercover, that's not the route to go. However, what you can do is, if you want to have like a physical space that's always there, to just decorate a little part of your room or of your house as a little display station. And a lot of witches tend to decorate seasonally anyway, so you can put like natural rocks there or a certain plant, a certain flower, and you can then just subtly like pick the different colors, for example, that you would want to have on there to represent a certain deity you work with, a certain holiday, or just in general a certain intention or feeling that you want to evoke. If you want to have representations of the elements, for example, you can put seashells there in order to represent the water, or you can put stones there to represent earth there, and a candle for fire. There are many, many options. An altar doesn't have to look witchy. It can be really whatever, and you can make it as subtle as you want. I even saw once on a group a lady that did an altar in a vase. I found that fantastic. She just took different things that represented the elements and put them all as a little bouquet. I think there was a feather there for air. There was a sunflower in there, I believe, to represent like fire. The vase represented a vessel for water. It was really cool done. So there are multiple options out there. If you do want to have a proper witchy space that you can quickly get rid of if someone barges in, what you can do is just, for example, take a little cloth. You can inscribe it with the different elements. You can put like a pentagram on it if you want that. If you work with a deity, you can also draw symbols on there or your sigils for protection. If you work with protective circles, you can draw that on too, and just have everything that you usually need to work your magic rolled up into it. Have it as a little bundle, and then whenever you want to work it, like keep it somewhere in your sock drawer, somewhere where no one usually looks, and get it out for when you want to practice. So you can even practice in the bathroom where probably no one, hopefully, will disturb you. This is usually called a travel altar, so you can also take it with you if you're going somewhere else. Very convenient. Now, if you're into green witchcraft and you do want to work with herbs, I do recommend to look into the herbs that you have in your kitchen cabinet. So nothing like a super fancy, super exotic that you would not normally have for cooking if you want to keep it subtle. And learn how to work with those things. Or alternatively, you could also learn what grows in your area, learn to forage and work with those natural things that you have. That's also a very great tip if you're a witch on a budget, or if you're a miner and you can't really get these things or afford these things. Download iNaturalist or whatever other plant app is out there and really start looking into getting free ingredients from outside for your spells. Or look into kitchen witchery, as I said before. I'll never get tired of recommending it to everyone. And as I said before, learn your spells or create your spells that don't require you to have too much stuff. It's not necessary for magic to work. You can do great crafts with pen and paper. You can do manifestations only with pen and paper to very insuspicious items to have in your house. And a paper is very easily teared up or fold up, curled up, crinkled and thrown away if you're worried that someone might find it. You can also do spells with mainly your mind. So if you have the issue that you don't know when to do spells or rituals, keep them simple, keep them easy, keep them in a way that most of the work is done internally and invisible to anyone, and a little part is done outside in a way that's very easy to pass off as something else. Like if you're doing kitchen witchery or cottage witchery, you can do it in front of someone's eyes and they won't know. Personal favorite of mine, if you know my witch vlogs, is to do nature rituals where I need nothing. I really just go out and work with the elements that are there. I work with snow, I work with leaves that I find, with twigs, with water, with the wind, with the earth, with stones. And I can do that while I'm going on a walk. I'm not even bringing that home. So if you have the option to like go alone on a walk, it's very, very easy to do a little ritual there and no one will know. So these were my tips for broom closeted witches, or how to be a witch in secret. I would love to know if you are practicing open, if you're broom closeted, if at some point in your life you have been hiding your craft, what you can advise other people that might practice witchcraft in secret. And for the rest, I just wish you a wonderful, magical day, and I'll see you very, very soon with a little witchy vlog again. Okay, see you soon. Bye!